So we figured out how to make these videos work with our limited resources, like we established the other day, yesterday or 2 days ago. Like we figured out how to make them work in Lagos. We're in Lagos, Nigeria, Africa, limited resources, juggling, doing YouTube with our side income from editing for YouTubers, balancing that income with personal expenses and then YouTube expenses. Difficult finding resources, props, all of those shit. Difficult, but we figured out how to make that work with our limited resources. Now the problem, as we established then, is that the problem is being able to do that in time enough to stay on a regular posting schedule and to hop on trends as quickly as necessary. That's the problem. We figured out how to do it, but the problem now is before we finish doing it, the trend is out because it takes a lot of time because of how much it requires, and that's what we're at. Now a possible solution to that is to make a fair compromise. What do I mean by that? I mean, we look at the things that lead to more stress, and which is different for me. It's not like the typical, it's not something you analyze like logically. It's based on my mental health, my stress, and my mental condition, that I look and I be able to look at the things that cause the most stress and take the most time that we can take out without hurting the video too much. You understand? The things that make filming or the entire process very almost sort of like a burden. You understand? And see what we can take out and replace so that we can be able to move faster. Now, to be clear, we have taken so much away from the videos already to a point where anything we take out now hurts the video, guaranteed. You understand? We've already done compromise. What we figured involved some sort of compromise that hurts the video to an extent. Now, anything we take guarantees to hurt the video a lot. You understand? But it is what we must do to not only make the videos possible, but make them in time. Because there's no point to being able to make American industry standard YouTube videos very well from Lagos, Nigeria, if you are still going to be very late on trends and fail at having a regular posting schedule to build regular viewers. Then there's no point. So it becomes a fair compromise to hurt the videos in as little ways as possible in order to be able to be consistent and regular and timely. So like mentioned, find the things that carry lots of stress and time for me, being the person who is managing all of this and doing all of this. So find the things that carry lots of stress and time but can be taken out without hurting the video too much, because anything taken out will still hurt the video. And fortunately, I found a couple. Two in particular that I have observed create more mental stress with less benefits than the others. It creates more mental stress, but the benefit is not as high as the others. And so those are the areas to start the compromise from. You understand? One is having multiple characters in the video. Two is complex segments that require too many setups or multiple angles to do well. You understand? There are segments. It's funny, that thing I set up there, it's going to need like 3 angles that I was planning to film that day. There's going to have to be a close-up on the thing so that we can watch the arrows hit or not hit. You understand? There's the wide shot and there's the close-up. Wide shot to follow it, and then there's the close-up. Which every time I was going to film it, it required 3 people and 3 camera angles. It's like, not because setting that up is difficult. No, it just weighs because of the stress relationship I have mentally with YouTube at the moment. You understand? So filming solo removes the stress of directing and staging scenes for multiple characters. So you have directing the characters, which is like, you guys, so what's this person going to say? This person is not very good at this yet. What should they say instead? How should they act? Okay, they say the line, it's not there. Well, it's like they have to say it again and say it again. I have to explain. It's like, but I'm here trying to actually stay in this zone, not start over directing the scene. That's one. Then you have the natural fact that it's not even based on the lack of skill now. They state where they will stand and what they will do. I have to think about it. To think of what makes the most sense for the video. So this doesn't even have to do with the skill now. Like, even if they were skilled at it, I still have to direct and say stand here because it makes the most sense, or say this. But it's a stress on its own. And filming solo removes the stress of that. You understand? Staging less complex segments removes the stress of setting up many things and filming multiple angles. Because then I start to, when the segment requires it. So I'm not talking about doing a nice set. It's choosing segments, choosing to do segments that don't require complex setup to work. You understand?
Yeah.
Now you can make a complex setup anyways if you want.
Yeah.
But we're saying we want it to, not that this thing for it to come out well, we need to film 2-3 angles. Or we need to put this on top of this. You understand?
Yes.
We should pick scenes that doing those things I want and then we choose to not want because we cannot afford to.
Yes.
But when a scene needs it, it then becomes a necessity for me to go through all that stress and take all that time figuring out how we're going to stage the scene, and then we end up not filming. So picking scenes and segment ideas that will not require complex setup. You understand?
Yes.
And multiple angles. Will remove the stress that comes from that.
Yeah.
Those are two less stress. Now, I didn't go beyond that. Why? As I thought about all of this in my head, I removed that. I'm like, okay, thinking about it doesn't feel as terrifying or as stressful. It's still a lot of moving parts, but these two parts particularly really strip it of a lot of power that it has, you know, in stressing me, whilst also being the least contributing factors. Even though we're at the point where everything is highly contributing, but in comparison to those ones, so you're looking at a bunch of important things, it is not as important as the other important things, even though it is very important. And by choosing to not do these two things, we have definitely hurt the video, but not as much as if it was any other thing I touched. Example of those things is the cinematic B-rolls stay to keep the visual exciting, entertaining. You understand? So even though it's a solo content, you still have like Mr. Beast type B-rolls, Mr. Beast type voiceovers. You understand? And at least one cool prop per segment can help bring life and production value to simple solo segments while not amounting to too much stress. Trying to make sure that their props are still used in the videos. If the videos is scene, like if there's a scene, the scene still requires a prop, some cool prop, but maybe just one instead of 3 or 4 for just one scene. You understand? So the video still feels like the typical, you know, Ben Aslad, Mr. Beast video, but it's just one person. You understand? And it's just simple segments. But visual wise, but visual wise, it still carries that element. You understand? So we maintain content that stimulates excitement. Basically, we're just compromising and taking out a few exciting features that, even though it hurts the video's excitement, can probably be slightly compensated by amping up the other aspects that stimulate excitement. The edits, the enthusiasm of like the presentation, the B-rolls, the sound effect, these other things, amping them up to distract from the fact that there's only one guy in this video, and this scene, there's only one direction to it. There's not like multiple things happening in the scene. You understand? By doing that, you're able to an extent compensate. But you take out the B-rolls and keep 3 people in the videos, still doesn't help as much. Yet, B-rolls is not even a major stress in my mind as having multiple people and having to direct them. And is, you understand? Same thing with segment, and I'm like, oh, this segment, I'm just trying to test this one product. But we have to then do this, then do that. Oh my God. Instead, we just do a simple scene. So simpler scenes, one solo creator. Hello? Yes. All right, I'm coming. So having multiple recurring characters in the video definitely amps the excitement. It makes it more exciting. And we've learned that to use the term stimulate excitement. That's one good thing about when you see videos like Stone Twins videos. It stimulates excitement for these young people because there's so many people most of the days. So we know that having multiple recurring characters in the video definitely amps the excitement, which is why we've always tried to have that. But as it is now, that will have to be a future phase. This initial phase, in order to get started and get going, we will need to go with a solo approach for the most part as phase 1. So it's almost like phase 1 is solo. Phase 2, you have like, okay, every now and then. Phase 3, when we are at that level mentally, for me, mentally, for us, resource-wise, it's now like proper. You cannot introduce the video. And now I'm not like, oh my God, this is going to affect us. Oh, I have to figure out where is she going to stand, what is she going to stay, what is she going to wear, how should she wear it. All of that gets me distracted from the other things that matter the most. But maybe when we have started going and things are now sailing, and maybe we have more resources, whether that's people or whatever material resources, then we're like, okay, now I can accommodate that in my head. Because you're not going to just be in the video. I have to know what you're going to say, what you're going to do, what's the best way for you to do it. Before I now look at your skill now, how can I then change it to sit into your skill? All of that are a distraction from just reviewing the product. Let's say it's an item, just giving a fucking review and getting the fuck out. Now I'm thinking, what am I going to say that will make her say something? Oh, then she will say, oh, that's what he said. Then I will then laugh. And all of that just eats up my brain power. And it's just gone to planning one thing. You understand?
Yes.
So now I'm going with the solo approach. Means we're thinking our entire content strategy. Because all of them were planned with, not as solo.
Yes.
Example, now we have to review our entire content strategy, like how the videos play out. The entire plan that we've had until this point has to be tweaked to fit into the fact that it's primarily just me in the videos, and adjusting them to fit into solo. And generally, solo videos are almost not exciting by nature. So that's the concern now. Is that solo videos are almost not exciting by nature. So, and if we have to then build an effective strategy that maintains excitement while being solo. Because our plan was not for solo. And so yes, we figured out how to do this, but not solo. Now we have to figure out how to do this solo. But I've done that, and that's a different update that I'll do. Which sent me to work with GPT to build out a guideline that will allow us to still make industry standard exciting videos of the moment whilst being solo. You understand? So before, we figured out how to make these videos, but it's taking so much time and so much energy that we are not able to stay consistent and on schedule. And so now I then realized that in order to save us time, I will need to do it solo and not have multiple characters in the video and crazy multiple segments. Now I've also then done the work of figuring out how to do it solo and make it work. What does that mean? If I do it solo and make it work, we'll fix the problem of time. It means we figured it out. It means we cannot make the videos to industry standard and then still be on time. How? I will then in the next update explain it. So I've put together that guideline I was talking about yesterday, general standard procedure. That would lead into that, because then I was not building general standard procedure as a solo creator trying to do this ideation, blah blah blah, everything to take note of how to make this happen. And that's the next update.
Stay tuned.
Hasta la vista, baby.